Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your buddy Hoppy, and I welcome you back to another episode of Mouthful of Metal, a music and history podcast. Before we get started, I kind of did things backwards a little bit. The last time I did the first episode, I didn't do an introduction, so I'd like to just go ahead and do that real quick. My name is Hoppy, aka Rich. I live in the Garden State, which is New Jersey. I'm a musician myself, 27-year guitar player, started out on drums. Drums didn't work out, so I picked up the guitar and took it from there. Worked with a lot of big national act bands. I worked at a club for 5 years called the Birch Hill Entertainment Complex in Old Bridge, New Jersey. So anybody from the Delaware Valley, Garden State area, if you ever remember that club, that's where I used to work. So I have a lot of good stories to tell, a lot of memories to share. We're going to have some guests come on, so I'm really looking forward to that. Other than that, that's all that I really have. So what do you say we roll into the next episode, now that I got that out of the way? So in talking about the Birch Hill, I spent the better part of 5 years there. I worked with a lot of big national act bands, but one of the bands that seems to stick out was one of my all-time favorites. Was the first show I've ever worked in. That was a band called Dokken, which everybody I'm sure knows. My wife and I were religiously going there to watch other concerts. Before, it was just a rock club, and then they upgraded to national act status. They were having like all these other bands come in and so forth like that. I think the Scorpions started to play there. They were one of the first national acts. And anyway, we got to know people. I got to know the stage manager, and I would always bust his chops about getting a job there. And yeah. He'd always go, yeah, whatever. Until one night we were there to see Cinderella and Motorhead, and I believe it was Thanksgiving night. Crazy enough. We had dinner with the family, and then off to the show we went. So we're there hanging out by the bar, and his name was JJ Rocco. He was the stage manager. And he came over, and he always would talk to us. Hey guys, what's going on? How you doing? I said, hey man, when are you going to give me a job working here? So he reaches over and he grabs a bar napkin and a pen, and he goes, here, put your name and number down. I'll call you if something comes up. All right, well, there was my foot in the door. So maybe about a month or two goes by. I'm hanging at a friend's house on a Friday night, and he calls the house and talks to the missus. Well, she knew where I was, and she called there, or she paged me. This was the era of pagers. So I called her back, and she says, that guy from the club called you. He wants you to call him. So I called him from my friend's house, and he answers the phone. I said, JJ, it's Rich. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you're working for Dokken on Friday. Be at the club at 12:30. All right, see ya. Click, and hung up the phone. Now I'm holding the phone in my hand, frozen. Like, what else would you do? What a way to start a career than working with one of your favorite bands who you grew up with in the 80s. Couldn't ask for a better opportunity. Show up at the club. I took a half a day from work. I worked for the government at the time. Went up there. I had a total blast. It was great. Got the VIP then from the hotel to the show. We did an in-store at a record place up in Woodbridge called Vintage Vinyl, which is no longer there. Anyway, came back, had a great time. We did the show. I got to meet everybody. Once I got through with that show, it was pretty much under my belt. I do remember that at the end of the night when we loaded everything back up, got the band on the bus and everything, the bus driver came up to me and he goes, hey man, where can we get something to eat around here? Because we're all kind of hungry. And I said, well, up the road, there's a diner. It's on the northbound side. You got to take the jug handle. He said, you want to go grab something to eat? Anyway, long story short, I ended up eating breakfast with these guys at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Laughed, joked. They accepted me into the group that night. It was a lot of fun. And again, it was just one of those fond memories that I had as far as working with a lot of the national act bands that I worked with. But I have to give a shout out to Oni Logan from Lynch Mob. Oni, my man. He liked the first reel that I did here at Mouthful of Metal on. I just wanted to give a shout out to him just to say thank you, and I appreciate your love and support, brother. And if you could find a time, man, inbox me, or if you can, email me at rdhoover33, the number 33 at gmail.com. I would love to set up an interview and have you come on the show and talk about some stories and what you're doing. I know you got a new CD out right now, signed copies. I'm definitely going to get my hands on one of them. So, appreciate the love and support, and I thank you for that. As far as what's going on in the music world today, I don't know. Ozzy had to cancel a bunch of shows because he said he wasn't ready for the tour. Let's just hope he gets better and gets himself back up to speed, so we'll hope for that. Let's see. KK Downing's show was a smash hit. They just headlined the Sweden Rock Festival. He's just knocking it out of the park with his new band, KK's Priest. Definitely, if you get a chance to see them when they come to the States, I highly recommend going and checking out the show. What else we got here? Wow, I'm all really drawing a blank on this one. Let's see. Kiss is winding down their farewell tour. Last 3 shows are going to be in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Yay. Vivian Campbell did an interview saying that he's been playing his best in the past 10 years than he's had his whole career. Okay, fine, that's cool. I mean, he was always one of the great guitar players. I mean, he got to play on hearing aid and all that stuff. We Are Stars. Let's see. Nothing from the Priest camp. I haven't heard nothing new about that. Yeah, that's really basically it. So we're just going to kind of keep this one short. And hey, listen, if anybody wants to come on the show, please, like I said, and I'll give you my email address again. It's rdhoover, like the vacuum cleaner, the number 33 @gmail.com, or just inbox me here. And if you can, like and support the show. I appreciate all the love and support. And so do the boys from Pantera back there. Going to see them in August, so that's going to be a killer show. Oh, and while we're talking about Pantera, so I'm going to be having a guest come on. His name is Stoner Fletch. He has a boatload of stories, and his musical spectrum is just like mine. It's off the rails. He's well knowledged in his music career and his history and everything, and he's got a lot of cool stories and stuff. So him and I are going to go see Pantera in Camden, but he has tickets for the MetLife show, and that's with Metallica, and they just added, and if you didn't know about this, you will now. Overkill has agreed to do a free concert in the parking lot at MetLife Stadium up in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Free concert in the parking lot. Now, Stoner Fletch has 2 tickets. He paid a lot of money for them, and he had just informed me the other day that I am taking one of those tickets, hell or high water, and he wasn't worrying about anything, but he says, you need to be there. So it looks like I'm going to be attending this concert if all works out. So I definitely will be doing a live video from there at the concert before we get too ripped up and have a good time. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm amped up. I love the new Metallica album. It kind of takes it back to the beginning days of their sound and everything. I think they sound great. James sounds really good on vocals. Highly recommend you checking it out. But that's about it for right now. Hey, listen, folks, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the love and support. Oni, again, I appreciate you liking the last reel that I did, man. And like I said, please reach out to me. We'd love to have you on the show. Take care, everybody. Horns up. See ya.